Hey, how you doing, folks? How you doing? My name is Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Pardon me if I sound a bit nasally. I've been sick for the past week or so. I found out. I went to the doctor. Found out I got a sinus infection. So I'm slowly creeping my way back up to perfection. Okay, there's no perfection. What am I talking about? Perfection as I know it, right? So I'm trying to get better, but I really needed to shoot some videos, so here I am. All right, so how you doing, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, I decided to go ahead and sit down and tell you all how I go ahead about the process of looking for people on LinkedIn. How do I find people that I need to find, when I need to reach out to them, whether it's to connect about a possible project, whether it's to connect about a job, whatever it is. I want to go ahead and give you all that information so that you all can be great and do it too if you're not already doing it. So with that being said, let's go. Okay, I've drank coffee. I normally don't drink coffee, so bear with me. I might be a little cray-cray. What I have here is I decided to kind of go about this in kind of two different ways. So I want to show you all like the LinkedIn way of like, okay, I'm on LinkedIn and there's this job I want and I know the company name and I'm just gonna go and find somebody that I could talk to in HR about this job. So I'm gonna go that route. So there's also a third-party tool that I use as well that I found out about, and it finds emails for you. And so that's another way that you could look it up. So it's kind of like a two-step process. I use a two-step process. Again, this is just my process. You don't have to do it the way that I'm doing it. You could certainly mix these concepts up any way that you like. I'm just telling you how I go about finding the emails that I need to find. So I'm going to go ahead and start on LinkedIn because this is how I normally start. So if I'm on LinkedIn and I'm like, hey, there's this really cool job that I want to apply for, and I just don't know who to reach out to in HR. So this is one that I have not done before. So I'm going through the process as you're seeing it. Like, I have no idea who I'm going to come up with. So I'm going to choose Netflix just because I have no desire to work for Netflix. Not right now. It's somewhere in California. I don't want to be in California right now. So let's go to Netflix. The first thing I would honestly do, if you haven't already, like while you're on the company page, take some time to read a little bit more about the company. Some of them will have like details here that, maybe you didn't know. Like, oh my gosh, it was founded in 1997. Like, seriously? Get out of here. I was like 5 years old. Hello, Netflix. Like, I had no idea. Anyways, so stuff like this, right? Just things. And then lots of things. So what I like to do after I've seen a little bit about the company is then I'll see, okay, how many employees are on LinkedIn? Cool. And then it also tells you, of course, this is a LinkedIn thing, how many people from your school was hired. Oh, cool, this guy was hired. I don't know this guy. Note to self, I don't know. But if I did know somebody here, I could reach out to that friend instead of going through all these loopholes. Maybe reach out to a friend and also someone in HR, or reach out to the friend and maybe they can connect me with someone in HR. So there's a lot of techniques, a lot of different ways that you could use to get yourself within a company, or just your voice heard. If you're blindly submitting resumes isn't going to cut it, guys. So that's why I say find people to talk to. So that's our number one thing that we're trying to get out of this concept right now, is we need to find a person to talk to. So I go to see all employees on LinkedIn, and as you can see, there's a ton of people here. I think it said it was 6,000 of them. So there's a lot of them. It goes through pages and pages of people. That's great. So just the first page, I like to scroll through the first page and see if there's anybody on here that resonates with me. You have a senior software engineer, You have a senior data specialist. Depending on what job you're trying to go afterwards, those job titles might appeal to you and say, hey, well, I wonder if I could pick their brains about X, Y, and Z. I mentioned in my last video, I believe it was my last video, I mentioned, hey, if you're going to reach out to somebody, reach out to them for a purpose. So if you decide to ping this person about product design, make sure that you have a specific request for this person, a specific ask or request, like I said. So don't just go pinging people just to ping people, like, I found you on LinkedIn, and then, that's weird. So if you need something from somebody, that's cool, but make sure that you have an absolute request so you're not just throwing things out there. For my specific case, and for this specific case, I'm specifically looking for someone in HR. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up here and I'm going to search and filter out somebody in HR. So this sometimes can take a little bit. So I'm going to just go to all filters, and depending on who it is, where it is, what it is, I might add a location. I think Netflix has several locations, so if I wanted to be specific, I might do that. I don't specifically know in this case, so I'm really just looking to see if there's like a title or something. Okay, so there's a title, and I could search for maybe someone called a talent acquisition, and I don't know how to spell acquisition, so I don't even know if that's right. Let's see. First try. Yeah. All right. So we've got a few talent acquisition people. We've got a director of talent acquisition. We've got talent acquisition. We got a lot of people popping up here. So this is awesome. Also, make sure to look at the locations. So the locations on this is like Greater Los Angeles, Salt Lake City area, San Francisco Bay Area. So in my case, let's say I'm trying to find someone specifically in the San Francisco Bay Area, right? So I'm like, okay, let's see if I could find somebody that's specifically in San Francisco Bay Area. Okay, some people would argue, oh, go for the director of talent acquisition. And that's fine if that's the only person listed here, or there's only 2 people or 3 people. If there's like a short list of HR representatives, then I will go ahead and say, well, I'll contact the director of talent acquisitions. If it's a much larger company like this one is, I tend to shy away from doing that just because the director of talent acquisitions has a lot of things they got to do anyway, and they're probably not really looking for people. They're more so, in my mind, they're managing all of the people on talent acquisition. So that's their main focus. I could be wrong. Like I said, take what I'm saying with a grain of salt and, try it for yourself. But for my specific use case, and in this specific scenario, I'm not going to reach out specifically to the director of talent acquisition. Now, if it does become a point where I do not get a response from the person that I decide to reach out to, then I will say, okay, let me try the director and see if they respond. But more than most likely, the first person I get is going to respond with something that can help me move forward. So in this case, I said San Francisco Bay Area. I'm going to try this guy. So Carlos. So he's talent acquisition manager at Netflix. And I know what I just said, right? Don't reach out to the director, okay? Not the manager. The manager may have some information for you. I also have 2 shared connections, which I probably don't really know these people at all. No. Sorry. So back to this page. So there's a few people I could reach out to. I could reach out to Carlos, and I could reach out to Crystal, and I could also connect with these people. Now, if you're still on the fence and you're like, I don't really know if I should reach out to the manager or should I just reach out to someone like Crystal, maybe she's less busy. I also like to view their profile because, at this point, you're trying to apply for a job. So if you look at their page, it's no big deal, right? So I'm here. It looks like Carlos has been employed for 1 year and 5 months. It looks like he's had some director of talent acquisition management experience as well. He's been a recruiter. I look at their experience as well, because you want to make sure that you're reaching out to a person that's going to see you results. Not that somebody else can't. It's just I need to know, has these people done what they've done before? Are they going to be able to help me right away, right? So let's go to Crystal and see her. So right now I have a few people. I have Carlos, I've got Crystal. She says specifically, she's been actually at talent acquisitions longer. Well, that's an interesting thing. I would not expect that. I would expect her to be the manager. See, and then you find out things. Okay, she's got a slide here. Well, this is interesting. If I was indeed applying to this job, I would be like, oh, look, she's got slides and everything. Let me read up on this. But I'm not. She's actually looked like she was a global talent acquisitions. She, looks like she's either from the California area or that she's moved there and she's built some connections there, what have you. Okay, so she's actually been there longer, and I'm kind of leaning towards reaching out to her, honestly, just because she's been there longer. However, it might be one of those cases where you reach out to Carlos and he might hand you over to Crystal. You see what I'm saying? Because he is a manager at the end of the day. So he might be like, oh, can you reach out to such and such? They sent me an email. All right. I'm kind of torn. I'm on the fence. So what we're going to do is we're going to see which email we could find. So we've done the bit where we're researching people. We've viewed their LinkedIn profile. At this point, I would be making notes of my own to say, hey, this gentleman here, Carlos, I've, looked at his LinkedIn. I'm probably going to send him a connection request later after I have sent my email, and then we can go from there. Same with Crystal. Hey, I've, looked at her profile. She has this amount of years experience. Same with Carlos as well. I would list the experience as well. So right now we're going to go into step 2. Now, step 2 is when I normally bring out my big guns. Okay. Those aren't, it's flimsy guns is what I got because I'm sick, but I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my email. Now, here's the thing with this thing that I have. So I use something called Clearbit. Here's the one we want to find. All right, so if you wanted to go actually install this is where you would go to connect.clearbit.com. You can install it for Gmail or Outlook. And this is what I was talking about. This will find you all the emails that they have in their database. You could search for people, find emails, details, whatever you're trying to find. Whatever people list, you can find, right? And so here's some of their information if you were looking, or if you needed to find it, or if you're just curious and you just want to look. Here's all the stuff. All right, so if you have not received an email from the company, let's say that you have even like a generic info@companyname.com. If you have nothing like that, then you can go over to your Clearbit Connect here, and it just appears in your email over here. If you have Gmail, this is what you're viewing on my screen. And it just opens up this window here. And at this point, you can click Find Emails. And as you can see, I've done some research. So I'm going to say Netflix. And let's just click this one. All right, so right off the bat, it's going to list some people here. And you can either yay or nay, whether you want to, these aren't the people that you're looking for, then move on, right? You could search by role if you want to. Honestly, I've never really used this feature. Well, I have, but I already knew the people I was looking for when I searched that, so it wasn't really helpful. But if you want to search for director, manager, executive, any of those people. So we're going to go back. I want to find Carlos here. And, oh, no results. Well, this is not expected. So if I just search for Carlos, there's only 3 results and none of them are his. Oh, what a shame. All right, so now we're gonna search for Crystal, and I'm gonna butcher her name when I spell it, so I'm just gonna copy it because that's just what's gonna happen. All right, no results for Crystal. What do we do? It's okay. Let's try first name. Oh, is this her? Crystal DY? This looks like her. It says girl boss. Let's click on it. Well, this may not be hers. We could look here and see if it says, if you hover over her LinkedIn, I can't really take myself off of it, but it'll show you in the bottom left-hand corner, it says her LinkedIn URL. Is that right there, and I'm just gonna see if this is the same. It is not, so this is probably not the same person. So that's fine. We're just gonna go back. All right, so with that being said, let's click on this one. I'm just choosing a random one now. I see her email address is M, which is her first name, the first letter of her first name, and then the last name. So what I'm doing now is I couldn't find this direct person's email address from this specific way of doing it. So I'm just going to look at somebody else's, a few people, and compare email addresses and see if I could try to conjure up my own. All right, this is kind of the same way. First letter of your first name and then your last name. The only problem is that if there are, I think this would be more Crystal's last name. Well, actually both of their last names is probably going to be pretty unique in itself. Let's check another one. Oh, this is not expected. So it's kind of, he's got full first name and then last name. But again, there are 2 of them that we saw. So maybe that's why. Because there's already, see, look, he has a J and then last name. This is getting complicated, folks. All right, let me try something else. I couldn't exactly find these 2 people that I wanted to find, which, like I said, was bound to happen because I did not do this beforehand. All right, who else can we search for? So we can go to the director. Like I said, that's normally my last bet. Okay, let's try something else. Before I totally just say forget about it, let me search specifically by San Francisco and see if I could find anyone else. Now, for these, if you're gonna search someone else, I would go ahead and see if I can, click into their profile like we did before. I've already done that for a couple. I don't want to continue to go through everyone's. But if you're really searching for it, you might try to do that. So with this one, I'm going to click on her. She does indeed have her email. So I'm going to go ahead and use her. Now, you could take a gamble on these first 2 if you wanted to. If you wanted to try to use their first letter, their first name, and their last name, you could try to gamble that. I personally don't want to try to gamble that. I would do that if I had nothing else. Like if there was no other information, then I would be like, all right, fine, let's just use this. But there's somebody else that has their information, so I'm just going to go ahead and use theirs just to be on the safe side. So with that being said, I found the person I want to email. I have her email address. I can look at her LinkedIn from here if I wanted to. I don't, but if I want to just click email, that'll pop up in my email and I'm ready to write my email. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the video off here, and I will see you in the next session where I actually craft this email that we want to send to Nicole and see if we can get us a job at Netflix. Stay tuned, guys.